Published 1443 EDT, the 17th of October 2017. Updated 1459 EDT, the 17th of October 2017. Saturday Night Live alumni Taran Killam is calling out the show's hypocrisy for its skits bashing President Trump after having him on as a host in 2015. Killam says while he doesn't believe Trump hosting SNL that November helped him become president, he says there's definitely something where it normalizes him and it makes it okay for him to be part of the conversation. The former cast member says the skit shows current, less than favorable portrayal of Trump could appear to be making amends for having him as host when he was just a Republican candidate. I don't even think it's righting wrongs. I think the show tries to, and in particular, Lorne's outlook is, play to both sides. Play to the masses, play to whatever the popular opinion is, he says in his interview with NPR. Scroll for video. Donald Trump middle hosting SNL on November 7, 2015 with Taran Killam left and Darrell Hammond right during the monologue. Killam says he was embarrassed they had Trump host. Killam says he was upset SNL gave Trump the platform to host when he was just a candidate. The current SNL's Trump is played by Alec Baldwin, who took home an Emmy Award for his imitator and chef bit. SNL faced massive backlash for having Trump host, so much so that Killam says during rehearsals they could hear protesters outside chanting, "We could hear the protests during our table read." Killam remembers, "As we're reading 40 mediocre sketches, we just hear, 'No Trump, Donald Trump.' I am embarrassed, upon reflection, just because of how everyone was right. Every person outside of that building protesting was absolutely right." Killam also recalls a heartbreaking detail during a dinner that has become an SNL custom to celebrate with hosts. "We're at the host dinner, and he brings Melania and he brings Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner. And he says to SNL creator Lorne Michaels, 'Do you know, Lorne, if I don't win this thing, I'm gonna be fine. We just bought this beautiful piece of property in Scotland. If I have to be president, I'm never gonna see that thing,' and that was his priority in that moment. That was even a consideration, made me sad." Killam tells NPR, "It was rough. It was not enjoyable at the time and something that only grows more embarrassing and shameful as time goes on." Killam says of his experience watching a soon-to-be President Trump hosting, "Donald Trump is currently played by Alec Baldwin on SNL. Baldwin took home an Emmy for his portrayal of Commander-in-Chief. Killam as Donald Trump and Cecily Strong as Melania Trump during the Trump and Melania Christmas cold open sketch on December 5, 2015. I don't think the intention of having him on was ever politically based. I sincerely believe that. But I don't think it was considered, the implications that it had then and could have moving forward, and I think looking back, there's nothing good I can take from that week. Because HES not an enjoyable person to be around, HES from a different class, HES from a different way of life. There was never any common ground." Killam was released from his contract after 6 seasons this year. "It wasn't super negative," he says. "It was just kind of messy." He says of his end on the show, "The comedian and actor has kept busy." Earlier this year, he played King George III in Broadway's Hamilton. He says that while SNL prepared him for performing live, "I was probably more nervous than I've ever been, for anything, to do Hamilton." He has also taken to directing for a first time, on directing for the first time in Killing Gunther, a mockumentary action comedy that Killam wrote, directed and stars in alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. He says, "I wanted it to be something entirely original, and entirely representing all things that I love. I love assassins and silly, stupid comedy.